And click record. Boom. Okay. It's recording right now. So, I think we're gonna just
We're recording right now?
Yes, Matthew. Yes, we are.
And I'm not looking very pretty?
No, you look plenty fine, Matthew. I don't what more pretty do you want to be?
I was just kidding.
I know. I get it. Conversational piece.
Being pretty.
Your wife did not agree with that, I'm guessing.
No.
And why would she? You're a handsome, red-headed, ginger-bearded man with a soul. I'll be the first to say, I think you do have a soul, Matthew. I know I've always claimed that you haven't, and that was only for comedical purposes. So since we're being honest here, and it's just you and me tonight, I figured I could let you in on the secret that I do believe you have a soul.
Thank you. That doesn't mean a lot.
Now, I can't dismiss the fact that Lynn or Nick will probably come at you next episode with some sort of rebuttal, retort, or comedical commentary.
Right.
I can't dismiss what they'll say.
Well, see, technically I do have a soul. A Kia soul.
Yes, you've rested on the laurels of that joke for a while now, Matthew.
Hey. It's just proof that I have a soul.
In your possession, anyway.
In my possession, yes.
Monetarily speaking. So people listening right now are probably like, what is going on? What are these guys? What am I listening to? This isn't the nerds I'm used to. And you'd be wrong, guys.
It's just random banter.
You'd be wrong. You'd be wrong, because it's been a while since we've had some classy back and forth banter, as the Matthew just poignantly
Poignantly?
Poignant.
No,
it's
see, now
hard
you're
to say
calling
that
me
word.
fat.
That word. No, what? Nobody said fat, Matthew.
Welcome to the Nerdentials podcast, starring your hosts, Joe Tweedy, Matthew Johnson, Nick Thomas, and Lynn Dudgeon.
Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeden, and accompanying me this evening, or morning, or day, whenever you're listening to this wonderful podcast, my fellow cohort, the Matthew Johnson.
Hola. How goes everybody?
Well,
It's
Matthew,
been a while.
It has. It's been a while. No, I'm not gonna go there. Sorry, apologize. For those unaware of the reference, if you guys are in your 30s, you probably do know the reference. Anywho, guys, it's episode 63. It's Nerdentials podcast episode 63. It's just me and the Matthew. It's just the two of us. No, I'm not going to break into that song. I'm going to save you guys from that. It's just the two of us.
The two of us.
No, God, you had to. I opened up the door for you, and you swung right on through. I did the same thing with Lynn when it was just the two, me and him. Things were said, things happened in the past when it's just the two of us. It happens. Anyway, guys, welcome to Nerdentials. This week, I'm kind of. It's kind of a guarantee. Only the two of us being here. This will not be a 3-hour podcast. This is a slightly shorter form. We're going to cover just the typical variety of topics tonight. Because
I mean, we could do a 3-hour, but that's just. I don't think they just. I think they get.
Well, here's the thing,
sick
Matthew.
of our voices.
We're going to see how long your phone lasts, because the battery's...
Well, that too.
Matthew is calling in from his phone, and the battery is nigh on the low end. So guys, we're gonna at least keep to some primary topics here. A little bit of TV, maybe some movie, maybe some gaming, just a little bit of everything here tonight. Probably be around probably an hour or less today. Whenever you guys are listening to this, next week, the rest of the crew, I'm trying to get on top of this, guys. I'm trying to bring us back to a consistent weekly release. So that being said, it was a little bit last minute that we planned on doing this recording tonight. I'm going to try to get Nick and Lynn on board on the same night. And guys, we will do the Avengers Endgame spoiler cast. I promise you that is coming.
Yes.
If for nothing else, just to hear our theories and perspectives on that film, which we will not share any of those things tonight. That's just a teaser.
And hopefully we'll have that going before Spider-Man comes out.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple more weeks before Spider-Man comes out by the time you guys are hearing this. So we'll try to do Endgame before Spider-Man, and then I think all of us are going to definitely do a Spider-Man Far From Home spoiler cast following that, because there's a lot of connectivity between those two films. And Marvel and Kevin Feige have come out and said that Far From Home is the epilogue. It's the closing chapter for Phase 4 before we go into the next phase. Of whatever he has planned for Marvel. And as of right now, guys, Feige has stated in the media he's got another 5 years. Another 5 years, Matthew, planned. And
that's a lot of movies.
And this is pre-X-Men, so I'm sure there will be some sort of peppering, salt and pepper, inclinations, maybe post-credit scenes where we may see some glimpses of X-Men activity, if nothing else. But Kevin Feige has confirmed he's got a 5-year plan for Marvel at least, and this was before the Disney official buyout. So here's looking at you, Fox.
That was terrible.
Let me throw a couple things out there before we dive in deep. No, let's just jump into our first category, guys. Let's dive into, if you're ready, Matthew, jump in with me for Movie Matters.
Is that a question?
It was. I wanted you to confirm, and then we'll segue.
Yes, Movie Matters.
Boom. Guys, welcome to Movie Matters. This week, I've watched a somewhat recent film, Jordan Peele's Us, a bit of a psycho thriller horror, and I've watched an older film on Netflix that I've been meaning to get around to, and it's been a couple years since it's been out, more or less. So I'm gonna have this conversation with Matthew here tonight. Bro, have you seen anything recently? At least in the last week, maybe not.
Within the last week, I've been more on TV shows than like lately.
I think
nothing
that's
really
perfect.
In the movie Matters part, but
playing Walking Dead.
Oh, and well, going into gaming bits, it would be The Walking Dead final season. I played the whole thing.
Okay, well, now that you've gotten that little teaser out, let's let the audience know that you don't have anything film-wise. I've got. No, you're good.
I feel bad, people.
Don't feel bad.
The last movie I saw was Shazam,
which I think we touched on in a previous episode. Anyway,
yeah,
it's all good. It's all good. So that being said, guys, I've got 2 films to briefly mention and rate for you guys. Then we'll jump into TV, which I'll let Matthew kind of headline a little bit. And then we'll do a little bit of gaming at the end. So, on the top of the episode here, the first film I would like to share with you guys is one that came out in 2013. I know, it's been a minute, and we're now 2019. The film in question is called About Time. About Time, a kind of a sci-fi-y, light on the sci-fi romance film starring Donald Gleason and Rachel McAdams. Now, I'll give you the quick synopsis. At the age of 21, Tim discovers he can travel in time and change what happens and has happened in his own life. His decision to make his world a better place by getting a girlfriend turns out not to be as easy as you think. That's kind of the short premise of the whole thing. Additional starring roles are, we got Bill Nye, who plays the father. Lydia Wilson plays Donald Gleason's sister, Kit Kat. We've got Lindsay Duncan playing his mother, and a really short, small role. Margot Robbie actually makes an appearance for a little bit in the film as kind of the Donald Gleason's childhood interest, like the girl that he obsesses over but doesn't end up with, sort of story arc, if you will.
I was gonna say kind of like your typical high school style,
kind of like you've got.
He said no in the beginning, but now he wants to be
right. So without spoiling too much, I'll give you guys the basics of kind of how this sort of plays out. We're following Donald Gleason, the main character. He turns 21. His dad, Bill Nye, who played. Hold on. He's actually really well known. Bill Nye, N-I-G-H-Y. He played Davy Jones in all of the Jack Sparrow Pirates of the Caribbean films. You know who I'm talking about?
Or the lead vampire in the Underworld films.
Yes. He's got, he's a good actor, but he definitely has a very specific, flavor of character that he plays for each of those roles. So basically, Tim's dad reveals to him on his 21st birthday that the men in his family have the ability to kind of bounce back and forth through time and make changes in their lives. But when asked, sort of like a butterfly effect, how dramatic is the time? Can we mess up time if we do something dramatic? And his dad basically tells him, you can only bounce around through time within experiences that you personally have already experienced. So he can't go further in time past the point of him being born, and he can't go into the future past the time that he's already experienced. So his time travel shenanigans are basically tied to, within context of this story, only the amount of time that he's been alive. He can't go too far in the past, too far in the future. He can only make changes within his personal life. Now, this movie is not a perfect film from a sci-fi perspective. There's a couple plot points that don't line up. If you're being a super nerd like us and you're really looking into it, this movie isn't about the science of what he can do. It's about
the time travel.
The time travel isn't the key here. The time travel is fun, for sure. It develops a lot of different consequences for the main character, but ultimately this is about the relationship that Donald Gleason has with co-star Rachel McAdams, as far as the romance, meeting her and getting married to her and building a family with her. That's kind of the premise of this whole movie. And the depth of this film really kind of orchestrates just the funny, quirky moments that he decides to, oops, I messed that up. Hold on a second. And he goes off into another room to go back in time a few minutes and try to do it again, basically. So his right. So you can imagine there's a lot of funny moments with this. His dad tells him, find a quiet, dark place to go to, make a fist and concentrate really strong on the exact moment you want to go back to, and you'll open your eyes and find yourself at that moment that you went back to. So a lot of times, a lot of these things are like, so he'll meet her for the first time kind of scenario. I'm being broad about this, but he says a few things. Maybe it didn't go right. He's like, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. He runs and goes into a closet, goes back in time a few minutes, and takes another stab at it. And we get to kind of see this unfold. I will be really vague about this, Matthew. This isn't like a major plot spoiler, but like to give you an idea. Okay, his first night with her, quote unquote, with her. He didn't think he did that good of a job, and she's being really sweet to him and saying, no, it was great. And he's like, hold on a second, I'll be right back. Yes. And
Nice.
then he does this 3 times in a row. And on the third time, it's like the best he could ever muster. Like he's like, okay, we're truly done now. And then it was so amazing for her. She's like, oh, what? Are you telling me my special man can only go once? But because he can time travel, he's already done it several times before. So this movie, so that's like, I'm being real vague. I'm being vague. I'm keeping it vague. I won't say anymore. The show has some sci-fi maybe plot holes that don't add up, over the course of the whole 2-hour movie. But the heart of this film is between the relationship between him and the girl he ends up with. It has a lot to do with his relationship with his father, and my goodness, dude, I found myself outburst laughing a handful of times. There's 1 or 2 like genuine tear-jerking moments in this film. Even time travel aside, it's not a perfect film, but for what it was going for, like the emotional aspect of it, dude, this thing hits a really solid note in my book for comedy romances. And so I will definitely place it up there in my top like 10 to 20 list of best comedy romances out there. I'm going to give this film an 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect film, but it struck a solid chord with me, and it's definitely rewatchable.
So it definitely hit the feels in certain areas and was funny enough to warrant possibly like another viewing.
I don't want to see a sequel to this at all. It's definitely a one and done, like a, you know what I mean? Like a single told story, and it's definitely rewatchable. So
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. It's About Time, Donald Gleason, Rachel McAdams. It's on Netflix right now, so anyone can watch it if you have Netflix. And we know Netflix has the subscribers. So go check it out, guys. The second film up for review that I'm going to throw out there is I finally got to watch Jordan Peele's directed, written, and produced film, Us. The movie Us came out, earlier this year, actually, 2019.
I was gonna say was out like
it just became available to buy on
few months
iTunes.
ago.
We actually bought it on iTunes a few nights ago.
Yeah.
So earlier
It looks really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Earlier this year, dude. His follow-up, Jordan Peele's follow-up from The Get Out, which was also a fantastic film. One of his first directorial debuts. If you guys are familiar with Key and Peele from Comedy Central, Keenan Key and Jordan Peele are 2 comedy duos that are an incredible force on Comedy Central. They've got an amazing number of skits on YouTube. I watch them all the time. They're called Key and Peele. But Jordan Peele has recently started putting his stamp out there in Hollywood as being an incredible director and writer. He produced the film The Get Out. He just came out with the horror mystery thriller called Us. And he's currently producing and has directed a couple of the new episodes from the Twilight Zone revival. I have not gotten a chance to check out the new Twilight Zone, but it's been getting rave reviews. They've renewed for a second season. So, dude, Matthew, Jordan Peele's going to be one of those guys, like he's only in his 30s. He's going to be one of those director-producers that we look back 20 years from now and we're like, dude, that bro was prolific.
Yeah.
Like, he's putting out some incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Did you see The Get Out, Matthew?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that?
It was great. Like, and it was something that not anybody was like expecting. Like, to me, like I wasn't expecting.
No, dude. So far 2 films in a row that I've seen of him, including one I'm reviewing right now, had things I did not expect. He's like, I love M. Night Shyamalan myself, but he's kind of like the new, like, plot twist Shyamalan of this thing, but in a good way. Not to...
Right.
I mean, Shyamalan fans are very split down the middle.
Maybe.
A little who?
Well, I guess not really, a little bit darker. Because, I mean, you got Glass that came out. And...
I'm just saying, like, he's Jordan Peele's got a unique flavor, for sure, as far as, like,
does.
The tone of movies. Like, The Get Out and Us are very similar, I want to say, personality-wise. The personality of the director producing these films, it has the Jordan Peele stamp. Like, if you see these 2 films back-to-back, you're like, this is the same director, huh? But that doesn't mean it gives away, story or plot. Like, you see both films back-to-back, you still are clueless on both of them the first time you see them. I will say this, though. Us is a film you probably need to see at least twice. The first time, just to appreciate it for what it is. The second time, I promise you will get way more out of it than you ever would the first time you see it. There's a plot twist here, dude, but it's on a level that I had a hard time explaining it to my wife. Like, I knew, because I listened to another review, I knew what the twist was before I watched it. I mean, shame on me. But it still, dude, my first time seeing it, I was like, oh, what? I knew, like, the premise of the twist, but I didn't know how the twist unfolds. And my reaction, knowing there's a significant twist in it, my reaction was still, what? But here's the thing. M. Night Shyamalan does, like, one huge twist, typically. Like, it's just one big twist from the main plot. Like, yeah. I mean, but, like, hear me out. But Jordan Peele, dude, there's a twist, and then there's a second twist of the twist. I will explain it to you off air.
So kind of like
I'll tell you off air. I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but there was a double take on the twist.
I was gonna say it's a Inception.
It's an Inception level twist. It's an Inception level twist because there is a twist on the twist.
I got you.
It's some people might be like, oh, okay, yeah, I saw that second twist coming after the first twist, but dude, just go into this movie blind, don't read anything about it. You'll get the first major twist at the end, and then there's an extra little twist, and you're like, oh my god, what? On top of the major twist that already happened. Oh, dude, I did not think movies could do this,
man.
But Jordan Peele is just setting the stage for some prolific film creation going forward. If he can continue on this path, dude, we've got some great things to look forward to from Jordan Peele. Before I lose face of what we're talking about, let me give you guys, I'll make this quick. I'll give you guys the cast and basically the synopsis of this film. So a family's serene beach vacation turns to chaos when their doppelgangers appear and begin to terrorize them. Like, when if you don't read that, if you don't know that that's what's going on, could have been the beverage that was being consumed the night we watched it. But my goodness, I love my wife, but she was confused at first as to what's going on. So guys, watch the movie sober. I highly recommend that. I think you'll still be thrown for a loop. That being said, I was mostly...
Where's my fifth of vodka?
Hey, I was mostly sober the first time I watched this, and I actually watched it twice. I won't explain why, but I've seen it twice in the span of one weekend. Okay, moving on. So the premise is there's a family trying to enjoy their vacation, and their doppelgangers, like menacing shadow versions of themselves, their twinsies, if you will, begin terrorizing the family. And someone quoted that this was kind of like an interesting new take on the home invasion genre. You know, when a family's being terrorized in their own home.
Right.
This to a T exploits and explores that idea. The cast is the lead is pretty spot on, dude. Lupita Nyong'o. Sorry. She is kind of an up and coming actress. She's in the Black Panther as Nakia. She did the voice of Maz Kanata from Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. She played Patsy in the 12 Years a Slave film back in 2013, which co-starred alongside Chitwell. I'm going to say that wrong. I may need to edit myself. Good Lord. Anyway, dude, Lupita Nyong'o, she did Raksha in the Jungle Book remake. She's a gorgeous actress, and she's getting a lot of roles lately, and dude, she's an intense actress, especially when you put her in context of this story. I'm trying not to spoil the story for those that haven't seen Us. Co-starring also Elizabeth Moss from The Handmaid's Tale from Hulu. She kind of plays like the other family that they're friends with during this vacation in this story. She's good. Winston Duke plays the husband. I gotta say though, Shahadi Wright Joseph and Yvonne Alex, the two children of Lupita Nyong'o, really freaking phenomenal little actors, dude. Like, these two kids are gonna go on and do some really good stuff in the future. The teenage daughter kicks some major butt, dude, in this film, and you're like, dude, why isn't the dad doing more? This chick, dude. Looking forward to more of this guy's stuff. I think we're gonna look back in a decade and be like, that guy was a prolific director. Matthew, is this something you're definitely interested in checking out soon?
Yeah, when I first saw the trailer for it, like, I was actually kind of anticipating it.
Okay.
And I just haven't had time to get around to it and watch it.
Well, hopefully my review of it has encouraged you even further to take a glance at it.
Yeah, um, especially with the whole aspect of like it being
It's a
one of
legit.
those twist of the twists of the
I'm
twists.
like that's the thing, dude. Like in conclusion, like I'm not the most astute observer or analyst when it comes to like plot twists in movies, but I feel like the second twist to the twist was not expected. It truly wasn't. And that's why I'm not saying anything about it, and just so that when you see it you're like, "Oh, that's what he was talking about." When I mentioned that there's a second twist, you can be like, "Okay, you hold your breath for whoa, there's the revelation to the whole story." And then you're holding your breath because I've told you there's going to be another brief twist in there that's going to be like, what? It's going to throw you off. I mean, it won't throw you off completely now that you're looking for it, but you have no idea what that twist is. So it's still going to be like, what? You're still going to be like, what? I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that, guys. I don't know if I rated this properly. If I did, I want to give this one for pure unexpected results in its conclusion. I've got me personally, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. For like thrillers, it's not as much on the horror genre as it is more of a thriller. There's creepy moments, but this is, I feel like, more of a psychological thriller more than it is a straight horror. So for exactly what I've just painted it as, I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10. Jordan Peele has done it again. Can't wait to see his next film. That being said, Matthew, I'm gonna move on to the next section. So, give you some talking room since you have seen some television lately. Let's throw this over to TV talk. Welcome to TV talk, guys. I've got some stuff to say, but I will throw over to Matthew first. Matthew, what have you been checking out lately?
So I caught up on Riverdale recently. Like I didn't watch like the full like past couple episodes, but I finally finished them.
I was gonna say, for those that don't know, the whole season's on Netflix now, season 3.
Yes.
I have to get back on the bandwagon and catch up.
And was it season 3 or season 4 of The Magicians?
4.
Season 4. Yeah. So we'll start off with the Riverdale.
Sweet.
This season, I almost went back to the whole me hating on
Archie.
Archie Andrews. Yes.
You almost got angry at him again?
Well, I mean, I did. But...
Oh, early on, yeah, you were like, "Oh, this is not my Archie."
Yeah. Well,
you did. You did the whole hashtag not my Archie.
Yes. But, like, later on, like, a lot of the stuff started to make sense. And then the plot twist in this whole season revolves around the game that they started back in the second season.
Okay, don't spoil anything.
I'm not going to spoil.
Okay.
And it all comes to a head with one final battle. And then at the very end of the last episode, it goes springtime of their senior year.
Wait. Are you saying there's like a time jump going on, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Everybody's happy at the very end of the episode, and then all of a sudden it cuts to a, like, minute and a half.
Be vague.
Cut to the front.
Be vague.
And let's just say one of the characters does not look like they're coming back. And it has nothing to do with...
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry, no. Because they they redid the last 3 episodes, I believe.
Or they re-edited. They edited some stuff in probably, or
Yeah,
cut
yeah,
out. Real quick, not to interrupt your review, I apologize for that, but because that was a huge topic, Luke Perry, Archie's father, actually died mid-season or mid-production, for that matter.
yeah.
And so my question is, I get, maybe this might be a spoiler, I guess, to ask this question, but
They haven't like written off the character or anything.
so they have,
Basically,
okay. I guess
basically,
that's where I'm
what
going with that.
happened
Yeah.
was, you see Molly Ringwald come in, his mom, and she's like, "I figured since now your dad's away, and that's where they leave it at.
Oh, so
Since now your dad's
it's an
away, I'm
unknown, like an
right,
unknown, like he's not here right now, but they haven't written him off in a permanent way. They've just
exactly."
sort of like, oh, that okay. Yeah, I don't want it spoiled to how it plays out, like, because I'm still very much I'm the audience right now listening to you, and like I plan on diving in here. So I was so curious without ruining it. I was just curious if they like hardcore wrote him out of it, killed him off in the story, or if they just left it vague right now.
They left it very vague, and
That's so
a
crazy
lot of
because
a
at
lot
the
of
end of
this.
season 2, they really played him up to kind of be more important, and that's sad. That's so sad on a
Well,
like
like
a
in the beginning of this season, like he was pretty dang important. Like, and that's the whole thing. Is like
right, because he
as
was trying
soon
to go
as
for mayor and stuff and all that.
yeah, and
I'll stop. I'll stop. Keep going. Keep going with the season.
so Riverdale as a whole season, you're definitely gonna get confused. You're definitely gonna get ticked off. You're definitely gonna have tears, and then you're gonna have that aha moment where it's like, okay, feel good, everything is going good, and then at the very end, just go, WTF?
Now, in what way is that WTF leave you emotionally? Does it leave you bewildered, confused, or excited for season 4?
It leaves you bewildered, ex- anticipating the next season,
Okay.
and you're gonna have a lot of questions.
Perfect. So just like Lost.
Yes, where you're just like, that's really where they ended it at. Really?
you, you get your answers, lots of answers, and then they're only backed by double the questions.
Yes.
So, okay, so that's what Riverdale leaves you with, is like double the questions essentially.
So my when I watched that last part,
Your takeaway of the season.
exactly everything that I said out of my mouth verbally was like, nuh-uh, why?
Oh, that only like some people are like, "Oh, I don't like all that," but then why are you watching the show to begin with? Like for me, as a fan of drama and the CW, I'm like,
Well,
perfect, sweet. They've left me wanting more, and that's, you know what I mean. Like as a fan, that's kind of what you hope for. You want some resolution, but you also want a continued drive for why you should come back the next season.
yes.
And you're like, oh, I gotta see what happens next.
Yeah, it kind of what it did for me. It was kind of like when I was first gung ho about the Arrow back in the day, and how those first 3 seasons ended. Like you're just like, all right, let's do this. Let's just skip like 7 months
Yeah,
and go right back into it.
yeah. And then yes and no, or
Oh yeah, like you, yeah,
right now for you, it's maintaining that that level of drive is what you're saying. So, season as a whole, scale of 1, I want to maintain 1 through 10. We don't have a solid good rating system for that whole, like, what we really mean. So, but when you say 9 or 10, that's like obsessive fanboy. You cannot live if you don't see this, right? So, from 1 to 10, where do you feel it lands?
Strong 9.
Strong 9. So, that's like you really have to see this kind of. That's still to me 9 still ranks up in the like you need to see it.
Because if you love mystery and you love trying to figure things out and you see things coming and all of a sudden you find yourself wondering how they got to that point, this is that season.
So, I like to be lighthearted and carefree with our show most of the time, but one thing I kind of want to challenge us as hosts of this show is to put in the question, what keeps it from being a 10?
What keeps it from being a 10?
Yeah, what's that small little nitpick or factor that keeps it from being a 10? It might be hard for you to say, but that's kind of what I want to pose all of us hosts in the future.
It's not hard for me to say.
Okay.
It's the dang milkshakes at the end of the episodes.
There's one thing that keeps it from a 10. Explain.
Okay, so the last 3 episodes, the 4 main people, Jughead, Archie, Betty, and Veronica.
Uh-huh.
They're all at Pop with the milkshake. Just like they were like back in the first season. All happy-go-lucky kind of like thing.
So
and
you
that was
feel
it was kind of annoying.
So you feel there's a little bit of the weight of the drama and hype is a little weighed down because of a stupid milkshake throwback scene that they feel the need to implement in each season.
Yes.
Okay. I'll allow it. Fair enough. I'll give.
I mean, granted, that's pretty much the Archie comics is like that they were always drinking the milkshakes and eating hamburgers, but at the same time, like, come on now.
But the level of drama and weight that the show is bringing over the comics is a lot different.
Yes, and that's kind of, I don't know. I think wholeheartely, I think that is like the one thing that they're trying to keep in the show because to like keep it lighthearted, I guess, as far as the whole Archie comic books
without
going too dark.
Without going so dark you lose people, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, so that's Riverdale. Hold on. I've got a quick show, just to get it a little back and forth. I've got a show that I'm almost finished with its entire first season, and I wanted to give some... don't want to deep dive right now because there's a lot more of the show that's already out. I'm just now getting into it kind of thing. So I want to give a little bit of perspective on my initial thoughts on season 1 of Lucifer. Which at the end of season 3 was going to be canceled. It was on the Fox Broadcasting Company before Netflix picked it up. Okay, hold on, I'll read this real quick. Based on characters created by Neil Gaiman, makes sense, American Gods and all that, Sam Keith and Mike Dringenberg, this series follows Lucifer, the original fallen angel who has become dissatisfied with his life in hell. After abandoning his throne and retiring to Los Angeles, Lucifer indulges in his favorite things, women, wine, and song, until a murder takes place outside of his upscale nightclub for the first time in billions of years. The murder awakens something unfamiliar in Lucifer's soul that is eerily similar to compassion and sympathy. Lucifer is faced with another surprise when he meets an intriguing homicide detective named Chloe, who appears to possess an inherent goodness, unlike the worst of humanity to which he is accustomed. Suddenly, Lucifer starts to wonder if there is hope for his soul. I'm going to lead with that, because that's kind of the premise of the whole show. But I am going to rate this and give my initial impressions on season 1 of Lucifer. Guys, according to who had it before as far as networks, Lucifer, according to this, was on Fox Broadcasting. So I'm guessing on Fox. About season 3, Fox, in grand form and tradition, was going to cancel the show. Then Netflix bought it up, and it was like, nah, we'll keep it going. We'll do a season 4. They did a 10-episode run of season 4, and they just announced in news this week that they were going to renew it for a 5th and final season. The show did a weird thing. It did a season 1 premiere of 13 episodes. It was renewed for a second season, and they did 18 episodes. And then Fox was like, oh god, this is doing so good. Let's do a third season with over 22 or 23 episodes for a third season. Oh, we're dipping into CW territory, yeah. At the end of season 3, with over 60 episodes worth across 3 seasons, Fox is like, nah, it's not hitting the audience we wanted. We're going to dip. And then Netflix is like, these guys are idiots. Because Netflix is all about spending the money for original series right now. In quick nerd news, 2019 alone, they have crossed the $15 billion threshold for original content. Next week, the nerds will have a discussion on the streaming wars and Netflix's opulent desire to spend money for original content to stay afloat amongst the Disney Plus service and Amazon original Lord of the Rings series trying to kick off. We'll discuss that in further details. But right now, guys, we're reviewing Lucifer. And I gotta say, right now, going back to the premise of this thing and what I just read earlier, this is kind of a fun show. I have a little bit of like religious background in that, just some basic Bible church stuff, background for me personally. So what they've done with the concept of taking the devil Lucifer and saying that he's been in hell this whole time, and randomly he decides, I'm done ruling over hell for now. I want to take a vacation, and he ends up in Los Angeles as a human running a nightclub. That's the whole premise of the show. At the beginning of every episode in season 1, it says, basically it says, the angel Lucifer was in heaven, and then he got kicked out of heaven to rule over hell until he decided not to. Or until he decided to go on vacation. I'm not reading the intro completely as it is written, but basically that's the premise. So good old Satan decides, I'm tired of ruling over hell. I'm going to go hang out on Earth for a while. Goes to LA, runs a nightclub. And that's the premise of the show. Now, give me your off the street dirt thoughts on that premise before I give you like the other deets, Matthew. Like, upon initial thoughts, you're like, why is this a show? So like, give me your.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But at the same time, like, I guess I can see why Lucifer would go to a nightclub, because there would still be drugs, sex, alcohol involved.
So here,
murders.
Okay. Yeah, no, so, well, that's actually, I a byproduct of becoming friends with this homicide detective, obviously. So, but let me throw this out there. So, let me give you the quick deets here. This came out in January of 2016. There's over 60 episodes. It was created by Tom Capinos. It was on the Fox network. It stars Tom Ellis as Lucifer Morningstar. That's his which, on a side note, if we're talking like biblical canon, though the name Lucifer actually means morning star, but in the fictionalization of this version of the devil, he takes on the name Lucifer Morningstar, as in Morningstar is his last name in this context. It also he co-stars Lauren German, who plays Detective Chloe Decker, Kevin Alejandro as Dan Espinoza. There is the Angel I'm horrible at these names. Menadil, who's played by D.B. Woodside. Then Lucifer has basically a demon chick that he rules over, who goes by the name Maze, but her name is Mazakine, played by Leslie Ann Brandt. And then a number of other small roles throughout this. Quick side note, I'm gonna keep this in or not, but Tom Welling plays a brief role in this show as a character called Marcus Pierce. Guys, I'm only through season 1, so I haven't seen Tom Welling yet from Smallville, but I look forward to seeing that episode, or multiple episodes, whenever he shows up.
And he'll fanboy. Oh, what?
And I will fanboy at that moment. Guys, Tom Ellis, he is so flipping charismatic. He's not played a lot of huge roles. I mean, he's played a lot of B-roll characters in other movies. And I'm not even going to list them off right now, because he's just done a lot of TV roles. But this is kind of his first starring role, and he's playing the devil himself. I'm going to try to shorten this up because I am rambling quite a bit. But the thing is, guys, with this show, it plays out in a procedural manner, at least season 1. Every episode, a new murder case comes up. The female detective, Chloe Decker, is trying to solve a new murder. And the interesting characteristics of the character Lucifer, who runs this nightclub, is he has, in the first few episodes, he is the immortal, can't be killed by human bullets, devil himself, hanging out at a nightclub. He has the ability to look at someone and say, "What's your deepest desires?" And they feel compelled to tell him the truth because he's fishing out people's deepest desires. He's the devil himself, guys. He lives off the excitement of just being around humans, getting out of hell for a bit as a vacation, I guess. And within the first 2 or 3 episodes, a fellow angel that he obviously used to be brothers with in heaven before the devil was kicked out of heaven, Amanadil, I forget how they say it, but Amanadil has been tasked with getting the devil back to hell where he belongs. He's like, "Lucifer, Father has tasked me with getting you back to hell where you belong." Basically. So there's some side plots that go on throughout every episode. It's the procedural, like, oh, there's a new murder. And right at the beginning, Lucifer befriends this detective, Chloe, who for the first time is the only woman he can't seduce. He can talk to any woman and get them to sleep with him, but he talks to Chloe, tries to seduce her, and she is not affected by him at all. And this intrigues Lucifer. He's like, "I can get any woman into bed, but there's something different about you." And this causes him to develop a long-running relation with her, because he's intrigued by why he can't get her to be interested in him. She's completely unaffected by him at all. And so
This sounds like a premise to Twilight.
I'm going to pretend you didn't say that and keep telling you more about the story.
Let me say.
Oh, go ahead.
With
Interject
what
for a
you
second.
were just saying, like Edward Cullen got intrigued by this girl that he could not get into her head to see exactly what was going on.
Guys, if you have any hate mail, send it to @MattmanOrigins. I don't have any knowledge base for the Twilight Saga. Don't send any hate to me. Matthew, no, I appreciate, love, and respect your knowledge of that series purely because it's a reference point. I would say the majority of people do not hold Twilight in high respect.
Oh no, I don't hold it in high respect either.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like,
fair enough.
The premise
you
that
notice a similarity.
what you were saying kind of was like I was having an epiphany of
where have I seen this
really?
before? So here's the thing. I'm just gonna rate the show, and as I watch it further, I will reconvene with our audience and be like, guys, here's my take on season 1. Here's my take on season 2. We won't deep dive in this. No one else is watching it. It's kind of just me right now. Netflix did announce season 5 has been renewed, but it will be the final season. So the show has gone 5 seasons, and so there's definitely enough fan base here that Netflix felt the need to A, buy it up, and B, produce 2 seasons of the show for fans because there was enough of an audience there. I will say this. It has me intrigued to see, like, I know personally in my own life about, like, the biblical canon of who Satan is and how the devil works. But what they're doing with this character intrigues me enough that I'm really curious as to what angle they're going to go. I like the fictionalized storylines of, like, angels versus demons, good versus evil. Ultimately, I just want to see what they do with this character. And Lucifer is an insanely charming character. At least the actor has made him insanely charming. And they're kind of humanizing the devil, if you will, in this. It's not a cult story. It's not witchcraft. It's none of that. It's literally just a drama that we're following what the devil would do if he lived amongst humans and dismissed his whole role as Satan in hell, and like how does he cope with being around humans. That's the part that's really hilarious and intriguing. So it's kind of a comedy drama overall. Season 1, I'm about to watch the finale, but which is 13 episodes deep. I'd say the season as a whole right now is an 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. Highly recommend. Definitely check it out if you've never seen the show Lucifer before. And then once the finale hits, I'll let you guys know if it's worth diving in further into the series. That's my take. I know you've not seen any of it, Matthew, so get my thoughts in the second season or the end of season 1, and I'll let you know if you really need to jump in. I know there's many other shows to dive into right now, and this show's kind of an old one to get into because it's already 5 seasons deep. About to be 5 seasons deep. So that's my take, Matthew. Is there any other shows, anything else you want to hit up before we kind of tie up this show for today?
The challenge. This one is called World at Wars. Okay. War of the Worlds. There we go.
There you go. You got there.
And they had some like people from back in the day, like Johnny Bananas, Wes, and a few people. Like if people out there watch the show, they know who I'm talking about. And this season just had a lot of good things and a lot of bad things happen.
Now, hey, Matthew, what's like the premise of this show?
What's the premise of the show? So the challenge literally is It's 20 people going for splitting $1 million. Well, you got one winner that is now taking home 750,000, one that's taking home 200,000, and one that's taking home 50,000. So first, second, third.
Say what?
People don't realize these people started out as teams, guy and girl, and they had people from the UK, they had people from Ninja Warrior, and some from the MTV shows, the Love thing. I don't know.
The
There's a
Love
couple of shows
Boat.
on MTV. Yeah, I'll just go with that.
I just threw that. I don't know. I don't know either.
But the challenges range into like jumping from a plane into some water after doing a puzzle, and the plane itself actually rolls back and forth, tips back and forth. They, it,
Yeah.
the challenges are pretty epic, and like the final challenge, the first round of it, they had to run 24 miles.
That's a lot of miles, dude.
Yeah. So, and which the total amount of miles they had to run in this whole place was 50 miles, and most of it was in that first leg, which is the most
Man.
out of any challenges that they've had before,
Yeah.
and it took a toll on a lot of people.
Jeez.
But it was a good season. If you want to check out people making complete edits of them out themselves, give it a go. See, yeah. My
What?
favorite guy is Wes.
How many?
I was gonna say
What
if you want to
season is
like,
this? Is this what season is this?
it's called War of the Worlds, and I think it's like season 33 or 34.
Oh, these reality shows. They run
Yeah.
long.
Well, originally it was called, um, like back in the day when it first started, it was like uh, road rule, road rules, and what's the other one? I can't think of it. But there was like two MTV shows. And they would take people
Yeah.
from both of them and put them head to head and see who would take the crown, basically.
That's cool, dude.
Um,
Right on.
so I mean that's probably the only other TV show I've watched recently.
That you've spent any amount of time
Yeah.
on.
Yes.
Right on, dude. I'm just trying to square out my thoughts for a second here. Yeah, I haven't taken any extracurricular time in investing in anything else at the moment. Um, the show Lucifer's just got its hooks on me at the moment. We'll see how season 1 ends. I've got 1.5 more episodes before that happens.
I mean, there's shows that I'm anticipating that we are all anticipating, like
let's
Stranger Things.
let's throw that out there real quick, guys. Yes, Stranger Things comes out in July next month.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Stranger Things, season 3.
Season 3.
What else? We've got HBO's The Watchmen comes out this year. I'm actually kind of excited about that. Matt, are you out of the loop on this?
I'm not in the loop on that one.
Oh,
Wow.
go back to our couple episodes back on our podcast. We've been talking about it. You have been absent, I think, for 1 or 2 episodes.
Yeah, I apologize, folks.
Hold on. I'm looking up real quick. Watchmen 2019. Okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown. It's kind of a little bit of side news, guys. We're done with the reviews, but I'm just going to pepper this in at the end. Watchmen 2019, a 1-hour drama series, 10 episodes slated for HBO. It's a continuation, not a remake. Not a remake of the movie or the graphic novel / 12-issue miniseries that was originally released by Alan Moore back in the day. The Watchmen, just Watchmen, is an HBO original series, a continuation of the acclaimed graphic novel. This HBO original series takes place in contemporary America, where costumed heroes are outlawed and the Doomsday Clock continues to tick. So, sometime after the movie ends, events and the world continue in Watchmen on HBO. Now,
Interesting.
give you we've got a couple directors, Steph Green, Nicole Castle, Stephen Williams, each doing a few episodes here and there. We've got writers such as Dave Gibbons, who's been involved with graphic novel illustrator. The big guy, though, here is Damon Lindelof. He's the creator of this original series, Damon Lindelof, and just so you know, those not in the know, Damon Lindelof was a writer on Lost. He did The Leftovers. He was a producer for Star Trek and Star Trek Into the Darkness. The guy's got a pretty hefty writer and producer list of things that he's been involved with. He's being listed as the creator for Watchmen, so he's going to be heavily involved in like the continuity and the narrative. That being Damon Lindelof.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, dude. Watchmen, Damon Lindelof. The teaser trailer's already out, Matthew. So after this recording, go check it out.
I shall.
There's some epic stuff that I look forward to in this show. Hold on, there's a release date here. Let me look for the release date real quick. 1 second. No official date yet, but it is coming out this year. So probably this fall or winter, sometime soon.
And then
anything else? I'm trying to think if there's anything else, guys, but I'm always behind on the CW. I know a lot of good stuff's coming. The pilot for Batwoman has been procured after the last crossover, so we're going to get a Batwoman series if all things go well. Matthew.
And I think the Arrow is finally...
Arrow Season 8 has been listed as the final season.
Yes.
I'm still very behind on the Arrow. I know about relationships and certain characters, so I will still say this. Someone who's not caught up, but speaking to the fans, I feel your pain and am saddened by Mrs. Smoke. And her departure in season 7. They wrote off Stephen Amell's main romance in the last current season of Arrow, and that she is no more at the end of season 7, and she will not. And it's been confirmed many times that she will not come back. Sucks because I haven't even seen the fruition of that relationship yet. Guys, you can send all your hate mail to the non-CW conformist at Mr. Blue Streak. I am very behind on CW stuff, but I share in all your passionate upsets and loves for all those series, even though I'm behind. Matthew, I think right now, before we dig ourselves into any other holes, it would just be a good time to end the episode. So this is... Yeah, I mean, do you want to say any more? I'll let you say some more if you want to say some more about another show or something.
I was going to say, if people out there like Telltale
Games, the company, yeah,
they need to check out the last season, the final season of The Walking Dead.
Guys, this just in for Gaming Bits, our gaming section that was not. Matthew would like to share with you that Telltale's final chapter after the company was dissolved and many people were fired, a secondary company, I forget who. I'm really not a great journalist, guys. Someone hired at least a chunk of that staff to help finish the final season for The Walking Dead by Telltale Games. So that is out now. I haven't played it all yet, so I can't review it. Matthew has checked it out. Have you played it all yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay.
It's
I didn't realize this was going to be a Gaming Bits
well, no,
review.
like I'll. The only reason I brought it up is because
It's important.
the game, it plays out like a TV series
Yeah.
because you're basically choosing what's going on.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, I don't like it because it doesn't have any of the characters from the series. And that's bullcrap because there is a few of the characters from the series in this.
Whoa. Where's Clementine?
Clementine. You play as Clementine.
There you go, guys. You can't hate. The main character you've all fallen in love with takes us to the end of the series. Okay? So get over yourselves and jump into the final chapter, all you haters. And if you guys love the show, Matthew is basically reinforcing that you need to play it.
Yes. It's $14.99 right now, I think, because of E3 savings week going on right now.
You know what? Jump on it, guys. Jump on it now. It's worth it, according to Matthew.
And that's the full season. It's not like one episode and you have to buy like $4.99. It's
sweet.
the full season.
How many episodes are in a season usually, Matthew?
There's 4.
4
But
full.
they play out pretty long. Like you're playing basically like 5 episodes within 4.
Okay. So Matthew says officially there are 4 episodes to conclude the season. It feels like 5 in its length. Go get it. Go support them and enjoy it. That's going to conclude, Matthew, our gaming bits. And
Sounds good.
And it's going to conclude podcast Nerdentials episode 80, episode 62.
63.
I apologize, nerds. That was ill-placed and ill-informed. Is it 63, Matthew?
I mean, you said 63 to begin with.
That would make sense.
I don't remember.
That sounds correct. I'll cut it out if it's not. But guys, this has been episode 6.
You were about to say like 83. I was like,
no.
What?
I was going to say Nerdentials and then the number. So that's where maybe you heard 8.
Okay.
Guys, this is going to conclude episode 63. Thank you for joining us on our Variety Nerdentials episode. We are trying to get back to a weekly cadence in our release. Most likely Mondays or Tuesdays is when you will see these episodes going forward. Thank you. I will leave this. We did no housekeeping at the beginning, so guys, here's something that'll help us out. Help us out a lot. If you guys like podcasts, if you guys are listening to us on iTunes, please leave a 5-star review, or for that matter, a review of any kind. And whatever star rating you guys feel deemed worthy of the entertainment in which you received for this last hour and a half to 2. Guys, leave us a review. It helps us get seen by more people like you. The other note to take from this is that if you want to get in on feedback, comments, questions, or suggestions for future episodes, guys, all of it can be done on the clickable link labeled our Discord. Guys, jump into the chat. Jump in on the Discord. We have a lively group of people that are pretty consistently chatty throughout the week, and we, the hosts of Nerdentials, are always on there. Secondly, guys,
Indeed.
You can find us wherever podcasts are found, and if you want to see our ugly mugs and you're listening to audio only, guys, we're on YouTube, so go look up Nerdentials on YouTube, and you'll find a lot of other content like Reviews, commentary, gameplay videos, and all sorts of things, including this podcast. I don't want to extend this plug session of media too much further, but if you take nothing else out of this, go to our website, guys, where all of this is in one spot. Nerdentialsmedia.com. .com. That's right, guys. Nerdentialsmedia.com. Thank you, Matthew.
Yes, indeed.
It has been fun. This is not your normal Nerdentials, but join us next week, hopefully when the rest of the hosts join us as well.
And maybe a surprise guest. Let's
just tease that while we're at it, because it's a good possibility. Guys, it's all good. This has been your weekly Nerd News, Nerdentials Conversation. Thank you. And as all, for me and Matthew and no one else, because that's all that's here. This has been your Nerdy Essentials, and as always, nerds, we'll see you on the other side. Why did you slow that down dramatically more than it needed to be, Matthew? What's wrong? It's just you and me.
Well, I was waiting. I don't know.
Did you expect me to super delay it or something?
I thought that's what you were doing.
I always do that.